Dummy Switch Pod. We're back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The opinions, and we're back again. We're back again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How are you, Chris?
I know I'm good. I'm good, Corders. How are you, man?
I'm well myself. I'm well.
Nah, that's good to hear. Good to hear, Courts.
Yeah, let's get straight into it. Friday Night Lights. Friday Lions versus the Griquas. I will take over this one. I will take the lead on this one. I'll go first on this one.
That one is for you.
Yeah, my team. Good performance, good results. We are happy. Yeah. We are satisfied. We have not been led astray thus far, so we're happy.
Yeah.
Lions kicked it off. Stian Pienaar started bright, taking on opposition wingers, taking them on the outside. It's good signs to see. Makes me wonder how Ulengo is going to get a game. I'm not sure how he's going to fit into this whole thing with Skosan back as well. 9 minutes, first try, strong scrum. Similani takes on Klaassen. And as much as I want to give Similani his props, man of the match, 4 try assists, but I think it needs to be acknowledged that Klaassen had a bit of a shocker. Yeah, no,
he got beat.
Yeah, no, it was a real beating. It was a real beatdown. Similani was punishing him the whole night, so
it was beating him like he stole bread from the shop, my man. Like it was.
Yeah, he was whipping him like the lead cow. But it happens sometimes. So we can't hold it against the man. He was making him look older than he was. I actually checked his age and I was surprised because I thought the pace difference, maybe he's older than what he is, but it was just Similani making him look out of place. Yeah. Strong scrum, took him on the outside. Some nice hands from Lombard, Skosan try. It was good to see the Lions. They were playing with an intensity. The guys were really revving it up. Guys like Chituka really adding to the momentum of the team. It's good to see not just going through the motions, but actually playing with some intent and intensity, which it's good to see. It's also, it speaks of having multiple leaders in the team and also being the leader of your position and sort of being in control of what you're doing on the field.
Yeah.
Similani again, second big moment in the first half, takes on Prop and a lock. Not sure what they were doing in the midfield, but those are Griquas problems. Those aren't Lions problems. Good awareness by him. Takes them on, puts Dan Creel away. Great awareness from him.
Yeah, look, I think the Lions backline, those youngsters, they're very explosive. They're very exciting. My only question would be around the whole, all of a sudden, stock of centers that they have. What are they going to do with them,
Yes, I wanted to bring up this point as well because you've got sort of Dan Creel and Odendaal being the form combination in the whole tournament. And then now you've got Similani coming in, having this man of the match performance, 4 try assists, anything you want on the day, he'll give it to you. So now you've got a situation where it's like, do I stick with him at 13? Dan Creel, he's playing decent. Do I bring Odendaal in at 12? That's where he was playing for the Bulls. Will he be as effective at 12 as he was at 13, like let's say against the Stormers? So I mean they've got to make those decisions. And one thing for Similani is I'm sure he's, they're telling him you wanted to leave, but look at where you wanted to go. The Stormers is not looking quite as bright there. But we'll see how it works out. He really did raise his hand in this one.
Yeah, look, it really, I think even if you see the headlines after that game, where they, calling him the wonder kid, and everything like that, I think for him, the key thing for him would be going forward. He just needs to keep his head down, just keep his feet on the ground and he needs to, it's what I always say every week. He's got to back it up, because that's what it's
on this performance.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be about, is that if he can back it up, that's what's going to make him a great Springbok 13, and really be one of those kids that's head and shoulders above and that's going to have a long career at international level. but the key thing would be backing it up week in, week out, you know. And I think just the combination of that Lions backline, or just the Lions squad, they're a young group, and potentially they do look like they're building something, you know, as they were during those days when they were making all those Super Rugby finals 3 times in a row. As much as I don't rate the head coach as a head coach,
The
you
PE
know,
teacher.
the PE teacher, you know, but it's fine. They are working. It seems like whatever they're doing is coming to fruition. And I think as well, the other thing is that with the Lions, the games that they lost, they really shouldn't have lost because they did have opportunities, and it seems like now they clicked, you know, and they took those opportunities. Now the thing is for them as a team, I think, is to kick on from here, to be consistent and making sure that they put those games away, because that was the Griquas, you know, and as much as they put 61 points on them, I think, was it? The Griquas still also scored 30. So, you know, for them, there's still some work to do, I would say. You know, a win is good. It was a good win for the Lions, but, you know, from a defensive point of view, they need to do some work, you know, because 30 points against, if you leak 30 points against, you know, a better side like perhaps a Cheetahs team, you know, then you may find yourself in trouble in that game, you know, because defensively they may step it up and won't allow you to run riot like they ran riot against the Griquas, because they did. I got it wrong. I thought it was going to be 15 points. They doubled that, you know, so they look. Yeah, I got it wrong. You know, I've been getting a lot wrong, but that's okay. I'm happy to admit my wrongs. Huh?
But I mean, like going to that defense, the next point I wanted to get to, there was big hits in midfield again. You know, Dan Creel kicks it ahead. Another Simulani moment, gets there, offload to Skosan. I mean, I think he had about 3 big plays in that first half. So I mean, that was brilliant from him. Moving into second half, you know, Pelser had a try for more. With him, it's interesting to see that they keep on putting out those fetches, those number 6 flanks. The stock is quite high there, you know. They've got Creel, they've got Rudolph Smith, who hasn't, I don't even think he's had 3 games yet, and they've got Pelser there. Similani, he was dishing out for everyone else, so he decided to dish up for himself this time. Solo try. What haven't I done today? That was he just had to. He was ticking off the list. He's like, what haven't I done today? Solo try. At that point, Creek was tired. Elton Yanchi is also clever, holding his run to sort of, you know, leaning into the defender. It was clever play by him. At that point, subs came on. Tian Swanepoel, you know, he's looking, you know, he had some big runs. He's looking like a sizable character, good guy. Skosan played well. Ulengo, I don't know how Ulengo is going to get back into this team. I recommend he looks elsewhere. This one is going to be a bit of a tough one.
You're giving him a prescription already.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to make it back into this team, especially if they decide to put Similani on the wing. Then he's totally.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because I mean, because as well, I think what else does Ulengo bring to the game, to his game, outside of him being, you know, maybe having the height? He's just a finisher. He falls almost in the same category as Lelo and Zas. He's just a bit better. But
yeah, no, he's better than Zas. He's
better than Zas.
Like Werner Koch.
So look, you can't fault him for effort, but you know, probably he just he's trying too hard, you know. But it'll be interesting to see where he'll fall in, you know, because he can't rest on the fact that he's made a Springbok side before, because the wingers that the Lions have, the Lions have is it's looking dangerous. You know, they're looking good, definitely.
Elton Yanchi is on the day, he was kicking very well, but it looked like he was on holiday. Yeah, it was nothing really serious for him. Kicked very well. I was impressed with that. If we move into the Griquas, Verity Arm, I mean, there were a lot of changes in this team. Some guys leaving, obviously. Verity Arm, he tried to spark things from the back, playing at 15 in this one. you know, he's from Western Province. He played for UWC. You've got to wonder why, you know, Western Province don't hold on to guys like this. Because again, this is another player that's better than Zas. He almost had a solo try. He had a couple of line breaks.
Yes.
You know, his stats on the day would have looked very impressive. You know, you've got Zach Berger going from 22 to 22 with a pack that's being dominated. You know, he tried well on the day. He did the best that he could. For his try, he caught Steve napping. He caught him napping and the lock with the pillar defense. And I think it's going to end up being a segment of scrum halves that are better than Herschel Yanchis, because he's showing on the day what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's showing.
Mm-hmm.
Verity Arm again. I think it does those two particularly. Verity Arm, the cross kick intercept. He's trying to book a flight out of Kimberley. That man. He's saying, "I've seen what you've done for others. Let it be done for me as well."
Yeah, and
trying to get out of there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they snap him up, because I think he also has experience playing in Australia as well. If I'm not mistaken, he should have played for the Western Force and Brumbies as well. You know, so definitely he definitely has a different sort of skill set that he has to offer, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of the bigger unions come knocking, you know, and take him away. He's got his one-way ticket out of the Griquas, you know. And if I was the Stormers, that would be my first call that I would make this weekend, you know, in terms of bolstering my backline. Just saying.
Definitely, he's talented player, and he, you know, I think he should be on a flight out of Kimberley soon. Next game.
Is it a flight or is it a drive?
Because hey, it's a bus, my man. There. It's a bus out of Kimberley. Yeah. Intercape, Greyhound. I don't know how he's getting out there, man.
Hey, but he's going, my man. He's going.
Yeah, he's going. Even if he has to walk at this stage, he's walking.
Can't blame the guy.
No, I would do the same thing. Get into Saturday, first game of Saturday, Sharks versus the Pumas. Pumas at home in this one. The 3 out of 10 Sharks as rated by Chris last week.
Yeah, well, you know, they were 3 out of 10 last week. Let's not deny that. You know, they were poor against the Bulls. They definitely were. But, you know, they responded. This week they did respond.
Yes, I think they fixed the things that needed to be fixed.
Yes, and one thing that I that I picked up out of that game is the level of physicality and the positional switches. Yes. They seemed a bit more balanced outside. They seemed a bit more balanced. So they had the hooker from Marty's. Is it Neil Jordan? I think that's his name. Not too sure of his name, but I know his surname is Jordan or something like that. Right? That hooker. He's a specialist hooker. He played hooker at Marty's and came in there.
They moved Richardson out to 6.
Richardson went back to the flank where he's played, and he had a good game there in the flank. You know, the other side of it was Henko Fenta, who we signed from the Cheetahs. I felt, look, he gave away silly penalties after we just scored and things like that, but I felt like he brought some physicality and mongrel to that pack. And then you have Pepsi at 8. For me, that's his position. That is his position undoubtedly, because he was physically imposing himself on the Pumas, you know, and if you look at just the tight 5, JJ van der Mesh got a start, and he really did bring a difference to that pack from a physical perspective. You know, the scrums were good, were solid enough. The only player that I'd say out of that pack that I wasn't convinced about was Hiron Andrews. You know, I'm still there to see. I think he's just, he doesn't have that physicality, you know. He's just not there, my man. The one clean out where I saw you try to clean out Andre Rudolph, he was on the floor, you know, and you're still trying to clean this guy. And I was thinking that, no, man, this doesn't look good, you know. and yeah, but overall, the pack, the Sharks pack, they did bring the physical edge, you know, and that allowed them to get onto the front foot. It allowed Nohamba to play. It gave the backs the sort of the room and the leeway to play. Where you saw Kerwin Bosch was actually look, I feel like he still is not taking the ball to the line, as much, but he was able to get his guys away.
What does he bring to the table besides kicking?
Look, for me,
Elton Yanchis brings the whole table, but what does he bring to the table?
Look, the guy just brings his chair. You know what I mean? He just brings his chair to the table because I'm sorry, as much as yes, the Sharks won, his kicking was good. He's kicking out of hand. You can see he was trying to control the game and marshal the team around the park, which he did get right. They got the result. But outside of that, I think there's nothing more than that he does bring. Outside maybe from a counter-attacking ability. When they do have turnover ball, then he can be lethal there. But from a 10 perspective, I just don't. For me, he's not the 10 that's going to go on to be an international top quality 10.
I think he's more dangerous running from deeper, which is why I think 15 would potentially suit him better.
Will be better for him, But what I liked about them was that with him and Libok, they combined really well. At times they looked. I felt like they watched the Bledisloe 3 early in the morning, and then they thought, no, we're going to do the same. And they look good together. Spoon Kosi as well. It was good to see him play. I think. Look,
why was he so angry when he scored?
I think he was angry because he initially early on in the game he tried to run over
held him up.
And they didn't have that. They said no ways, sir, we're not having that. But. Yeah, I think overall, just from a Sharks perspective, they really they did lift their performance from a 3 out of 10 to more of a 6 out of 10, which is more acceptable. I wouldn't say they were that great because there were times in that game where they dropped off and they allowed the Pumas back into that game. The Pumas, on the other hand, I feel like they were victims of their own mistakes where they had opportunities to build some continuity with ball in hand, and they would drop pass here. It just wasn't clicking for them on the day, and I think you can see you can see now the value of Eddie Foucher at number 10 for them.
Before we move on to the Pumas, let me just for my takes on the Sharks, what I just wanted to add was that they did fix what was broken. They fixed the lineouts; they were more physical.
Yes.
My issue is that are they going to be able to do that against the bigger unions? I don't think so.
I think that's going to be seen. That's going to be seen when they play against the bigger unions. They have to turn up, and before we even get into that, they're playing the Cheetahs this weekend. So there's no bigger test for them after fixing their problems than this game that's coming up, But we'll get into.
They're going to play January Rudolph 2 weeks in a row. So hey.
Oh yeah, because he's gone down to the Cheetahs, so they're gonna have they really need to be up on their game,
For me, Marius Lowe, I felt like he got it. He likes to get involved. His work rate was really great on the day. He stood out for me. From someone being a flank, his ball skills were really good ball player. And one thought I just had is that this is the type of center that the Stormers potentially need.
Yeah.
While the Sharks would potentially need someone like Rikas Pretorius, who's more built in the same cut from the same cloth as Esther Hazen.
Yes. I understand exactly. I can agree with that because that would suit the Sharks game plan more. And you could argue actually that part of the reason why the Sharks are not really clicking or hitting their straps is because they're missing that big ball carrying number 12 that they had become accustomed to, because traditionally or historically the Sharks have been able to produce big ball carrying number 12s that will get them over the advantage line. Then it's easier for them to play. But now they're forced to sort of, be a bit be more inventive in the way that they play. And I think on the looks of it, they are going to bring that together, but they're still a long way off. And that's why I still give them a 6 out of 10, to be honest, because that was against the Pumas. No, look, 6 out of 10 is still a pass. It's still a pass. It's certainly there were things that they could have definitely improved on. I think just from an overall execution basis, they had the opportunity.
That's the thing. It was a bit unconvincing and uninspiring, even though they won.
Yes, look, the scrums were solid enough. Yes, I can
Yes.
agree with that. They fixed their lineouts. I can agree with that. But
The
the maul was good, but there were patches where they allowed the Pumas to be back in the game, and where they were where you could see those frailties that were exposed before against the Bulls. So for me, look, I'm just glad that we got the win. We sort of back on track for now until we play the Cheetahs. We need to see what's going to happen there. But for me, I just can't get out of my head the way Pepsi played at number 8, the way he was just involved physically in terms of his carries were strong, his defense was strong as well, and he just looked very natural there. And for me, I'm just wondering, how they're going to fit a guy like Skhumbuzo Noche back in there, because I would say Pepsi's one performance at number 8 has really shown him as he should be the premier number 8 at the Sharks. With Skhumbuzo Noche, he's got to work a bit harder, because Pepsi's not a 7. He's definitely not a 7. Although he can play there and he's had some good games there, I don't think he is, naturally a 7. He's better suited at 8. JJ van der Mesh, I think he definitely needs to start. You could see his physicality with these carries there. I think it would be good to see a combination of him and Ruben van Heerden, starting together. Whether that's going to happen, I don't think so, because I don't see Hiron Andrews being a player that to come off the bench and bring an impact as well. So they're in a bit of they're in a bit of a sort of conundrum there, because Hiron Andrews, I don't think he's bringing that extra physicality. I don't think he's that physical, enough, particularly against a bigger union. If they're going to play against we know the timber that the Cheetahs have. That's not just only timber. That's real Free State beef over there that they've got. So I don't know in terms of Hiron Andrews, but just on the balance of it, I think they're starting to get that balance right. One thing, don't play players out of position, and we saw that. You had a hooker at hooker, and your lineouts were fixed. So that should tell you everything you need to know. The guy's name, sorry, it's not Jordan, it's Dan Juster. That's the hooker from
Dan Juster.
It's Dan Juster. It's not Neil Jordan. I don't know why I'm thinking of Neil Jordan. Sorry, but Dan Juster, he showed that he's a hooker. That's all he's been doing, and lineouts to sort it out. Perhaps Hiron Andrews, his value is in the lineouts and the calls that he brings. So I guess we'll see how it goes. From a Pumas point of view, I just feel like they made too many mistakes to allow the Sharks to play, and the game got away from them very early. And the Sharks had a foul.
Yeah, they went in it early. You've got to wonder, Boshoff starting, why not Murray? Came in with the injury last week and did well. So you've got to wonder about that. They had a chance to hit back early, but they gave away a technical penalty with the maul on the Sharks 5 meter.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's disappointing. They really struggled to get going early on, especially at set piece. They couldn't set their maul throughout the whole game. Even when they did score from the maul, it was very, very messy. So that's a particular problem area for them. They're going to miss Rudolph. Definitely they're going to miss him.
For sure.
He's like a heartbeat of the team, and I think they had some good balance with the Lucy's there, Kleinans being
Engelbrecht
and Devil, and then him. It has a good mix of different skilled players.
Yes,
I think they
and I mean, you saw even in that game how many steals he got. How many turnovers he got. He was Johnny on the spot. He was there. Ready to turn the ball over from the Sharks carriers. And you're right, they are going to miss him. And the thing is, I think it always goes back to that thing which we say, it's about consistency, because the one weekend, Pumas, they got it right against the Stormers. They were executing, and then the following week, they're not executing. And it goes to show, at that level in the game, if you just 1% off, you are going to struggle to put together those wins. And especially if you're a small union like the Pumas, it's going to be difficult.
You can't start 30 minutes into the game, because that's essentially what happened. They started getting back into the game at the 30-minute mark. That's too late.
Yeah.
I feel for Van der Bank. He struggled to get going on the day. Neil Maritz, he's always sharp, but it's an issue of you've got to get him the ball. And they couldn't seem to get him the ball. Boshoff was unimpressive for me. Missing penalties.
Yes.
On occasion, he kicked a cross kick to nobody.
Mm.
So, I mean, I personally haven't seen him in his Varsity Cup days, to warrant his start. So that would have been a selection issue that I'm not quite sure why they made.
I think they got it wrong. I think Neil Marais actually in the since the tournament started, when he came on, he looked solid and looked comfortable enough in his own skin. Looked like he knows what he's out there to do, and he doesn't have any doubt, and he gets those points. He's done that before, and you can see potentially you could argue, if they were kept in the game, those 3 pointers going over, it could have given the team a boost. There's no lying that, there's no doubting that, if your kicker is missing penalties, shots at goal, it denies you that sort of scoreboard momentum, where you've got something to bank off to say, okay, we can chip away at this, and all we need to do is stick to our structures and we can break this game. And he didn't do that for his team. Although I think Maritz, I see him as well as one of those players that may be also getting a train out of Mbombela, because he's really good. He's cross covering as well on defense. Madosh Tambe didn't have his way with him, and you could see Tambo is no slouch, and Maritz showed as well that he's got gas. And if I'm the Stormers here and I'm looking at, okay, which players can I bring in to
Stormers got no man. Got no man.
Oh, let's not talk about that, but
like you said, for Neil Maritz, even that try that 13 scored, I think it's Cornea.
Yeah.
Fadabang, they finally got their set piece right. Fadabang took it over their advantage. It was a good moment for me because it showed what they can do, and it showed they finally got it right on the day.
Yeah.
The only problem was it was too late in the game. I think it was close to the hour mark.
Yes.
He gets the go forward. Good service by Ginter Smarts. There was a good dummy line. There was a dummy line by Devon Williams, which totally took Spoon Corsi out of the game. It was quite embarrassing.
It was for Springbok. He didn't read that at all.
Yeah, he didn't
know what was going on
at all. Went straight to Maritz, sparked it up. Good pass, try. I mean, it. You've got to be happy as a coach. Set piece try, but it's just a bit too late. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the challenge for the Pumas now, is ensuring that they start the game. If you're going to get into the game later on, at least
you've got to be within striking distance.
You got to be within striking distance. You can't be more than 6 points behind, because then you're going to struggle. You can't chase a rugby game, and I think it goes back to what we always say: backing it up, being consistent week in, week out. That's their challenge for them, So
that's what it'll be interesting to players.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. But again, like I say, I'm just glad the Sharks sorted out their issues. It's a 6 out of 10 for me. It's still a
My
pass.
last point is another, going back to the segment from the first game, scrum halves that are better than Herschel Jantjies. Ginter Smarts also, that you saw that skip pass straight to that. Good. He's another man on form. So I'm warning Herschel, watch out.
Even Nohamba as well. I mean, I feel like he fits into that Sharks team. He makes them tick. He delivers the crisp service as well, And it just seems like all the other scrum halves are playing better than Herschel Jantjies, And I'd be worried if I was him. I'd be worried if I was him.
So let's move on to his game, Bulls versus the Stormers.
Oh my goodness. I enjoyed that game.
You enjoyed it?
You know why I enjoyed that game? Because it for me, it exposed the Stormers. It exposed the Stormers because, yes, for the first 20 minutes, it looked like it was a tight game, just 3 points here, 3 points. It's like, yes, this is a North-South derby, the battle up front, etc., etc. But then they started to tire. and the Bulls, they started to
Yeah,
work
they tested their fitness throughout the whole game.
Yes. And that for me is the key thing. And we saw that with whenever someone from the Stormers made a break, there was no support around him. And for me, no support means the guys are tired. And guys are tired means they're not thinking,
And
they're
it's a
not.
bit embarrassing going into a game where the other team, their game plan revolves around you being unfit.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It really is. It really is, but look, take nothing away from the Bulls. The
Yeah.
Bulls did what they had to do up front. They dominated. They made sure of their set piece. That's one thing. It seems like they've also fixed their set piece problems. From a line-out perspective.
I think this is their final product. As much as we are talking about the Lions are building on something, I think this is more or less their final product.
Yeah, I think just a few tweaks here and there. Yeah, but I think they've got their guys now, because it's been consistent in terms of the selection from the previous week, and they've delivered. Their lineup was solid. Their driving more, was really strong and focused. And when they gave sent the ball out wide, even the old man Mornay Steyn was making good decisions. In terms of he was pinning them back, with the kicks, releasing the ball, and you saw that combination of Cornel Hendricks and Stedman Gans. It looks like it's growing. Travis Ishmael is also looking a bit more comfortable. And then you've got the winger as well. What's his name? Kurt Lawrence as well. And
that was a tactic of them. A tactic of theirs that Van Zyl scored his try off, where they were just wearing them down physically. Then 12, 13, 11, we're going to cut you up now. And that's exactly what they did. Kurtley Arendse runs a hard line, then a few passes, Van Zyl try. So they're just wearing them down and then going to those danger men. Gans was running some hard lines throughout. Same for Hendricks. Hendricks had some line breaks, some handoffs, looking like a proper 12.
No.
Okay?
Well, they were hands off of him because they weren't tackling him, so I don't blame you for saying that, but
yeah, he's looking like a proper 12. That whiskey, proper 12.
The proper 12, you know what I mean? Yeah, but overall the Bulls team performance at the end of the day, that was a team performance. Everybody nailed their job. Everybody knew what they needed
Creel
to do.
is looking solid at 15.
He is.
Another man that's come from Western Province, by the way.
Oh my goodness. Why did they let these guys go?
Even Kurtley Arendse from WC, another man that they let go.
How do they do that? And now they're struggling for wingers, And the thing is, for me, what I liked about the Bulls is that it was just a complete team performance.
Yeah.
You saw even Trevor in the scrums. Trevor started in the scrums. I felt like he had Kitsov handled. He handled him.
Kitsov looked demoralized.
Yeah, they did. And the Stormers just don't look like a team. They just don't look like a team. It's individuals. I think they just need to go back to basics and find out who they are as a team. Because, look, there were certain glimpses that you could see. Okay, yes, they're trying. But it was in patches. Gelant was trying to sort of get the pack going forward. These kicks. It seems like he was taking a bit more responsibility of Damian Willemse in terms of steering the ship or where the team should go. And look, some of those kicks didn't come off, costing them field possession and things like that. Willemse, I felt, look, he kicked his goals, and he did what he could with what he got. There's nothing more that you can add there. It's the same with Rikus Pretorius, same with Dan Duplessis in the back line. Edwil van der Merwe as well. He tried. Zas, I didn't see what he did. I don't know.
They were targeting him with the kicks.
Because they know. They know. That's the guy.
They know it's the weak link.
It's the weak link in there, and it's really, I think from the Stormers side, they really need to have have a look at what they're doing. They need to reset somehow, because whatever it is, it's not working. You know, whatever it is, they have big problems that they need to sort out. Because for me, with the team of that quality, that many talented players, with that many Springbok players and Springbok potentials or hopefuls, they this week get the 3 out of 10 for real, you know.
I mean, poor first-time tackling, poor defensive structures, poor individual reads, which I think will go back to fitness. Essentially, you name a problem, they have it.
Yeah.
Yanchis, I don't know Herschel Yanchis if it's a decision that he's made or it's a coaching decision where he's pressing the players. You know, from the scrum, he decides, okay, I'm going to press Van Zyl. You can do that. But if you do that to a guy that knows what's going on, he's going to teach you. He's saying, you reach, I'll teach. And he showed him. He just broke blindside. The blindside flanker is sleeping. Zas missed tackle. Philipsa missed tackle.
There's four guys.
Yeah, Monet staying pass out the back, playing with swagger that we've never seen. Can't try.
You know what I mean? He's playing with that farm swagger, but man, I was like, what? You know?
When you hear that, simply the best. After he lost the thing, I was like, no, this is a man in form here. This is a man. He's playing now. He's playing now.
Yeah.
Which was good to see. Even those little chip kicks that he was putting through. Decision making from the Stormers. You've got Rickers Pretorius. At one stage, he was shooting in the defense, which left that space behind. But he was shooting against props. If it's a center, you know, you're trying to shut that man down, but you're shooting against a prop in midfield. It's not good decision making. It's not good defensive reads. They couldn't deal with the Bulls' maul, which you know that you're going to come here and they're going to maul against you, which brings the question for me: what were you doing at practice?
Yeah,
are these guys playing touch at practice?
This is Loftus. It's Loftus. It's the Bulls. You know, everybody knows Bulls. You need to turn up physically. We said that last week, that if the Stormers do not bring the physical edge to this game, you know, they're gonna get taught a lesson by the Bulls, and they were. You know, they were demoralized. You know, you could just see.
Going back to that point, on the halftime mark, the Bulls were winning 32-6, and they got a penalty, and they decided to kick for poles. Yeah. It was brilliant in demoralizing them. They missed the penalty.
Yeah,
but that's one thing that I think the Bulls they're getting very clinical, and they're rubbing your face in it a bit, and they really demoralized the team that already didn't need any demoralizing.
Yeah, man, they down in the dumps. You know, there's a team that's in the dumps. They look, you know, they say you shouldn't kick a man when he's down, but shit, the Stormers are in them with dumps.
Timberlands on.
You know what I mean? Flipping hell, man, because it's unacceptable. You know, you can't. For me, it goes back to the thing of you can't have a team that has got Steven Kitzel, Bongimbo Nambi, Frans Malhebo, all Springboks. JD Shiklin, you know, he's on the cusp. You've got Murat, you know. Those are not lightweights in terms of the local game, right? And you guys are going to get bossed around by, yes, fine, Trevor is the only Springbok in the pack. So it's Trevor in the front row of the Bulls, you know. Then you've got Jenkins as well, you know, the guys that are Springboks in that tight five. And it's like, guys, what's going on? Who is this forward coach of the Stormers? That's what I want to know, is whoever's the forwards coach, you know, he's not getting those guys fired up. He's not getting those guys ticking on the right level. He is not, you know, and I'm sorry to say, I don't know who the guy is.
They're struggling for leadership.
There's no leadership. And the thing is, what's sad is that they've got guys that are Springbok World Cup winners, you know, and they're struggling for leadership, you know, and you don't know where to look. I don't know.
For me, the point that I must bring up is that there's so much depth in that area, there's players to choose from. I'm sure even at club level, there's guys that are hungry, but it's just not coming together for this team. And I feel like these guys, they're not taking the opportunities that they're given.
Yeah.
You know, they're not appreciating the situation that they're in. But nonetheless,
those are Stormers' problems. You know, they need to sort them out. Otherwise, every week it's going to be a 3 out of 10. I mean, that's going to be
even
very, very.
From your own mistakes in the game, Monet Stein puts a chip later in the game. Chip again, Hans, try. You don't even learn from your own mistakes.
Nobody's covering. My thing is then, where's the scrum off? Where's the scrum off that's supposed to be sweeping around in that channel, covering?
Yeah,
you know,
defensive structure.
Because all the guys were on one side, even the fullback, even Galant was on that one side. So where's the 9 that's supposed to be sort of following and sweeping to cover that? So it's a question of the structure. What's going on? That's the thing. And that coaching staff really need to take a hard look at themselves and what they're doing, you know, as well as the players, because I'm not convinced at all by the Stormers team, you know. And if I was here, maybe I'm a bit sort of breathing a sigh of relief, you know, that I wasn't playing, you know, but at the same time, you've got an opportunity to actually see what the problems are and go back into camp and say, look, this is what we need to fix. You know, the players also need to take ownership. As much as, yes, we can say the structures and things like that, the players, they're professional enough. They need to take ownership. Can't be beaten like that by a Bulls team that is just coming together. You know, yes, fine, it's Jake White, but at the same time, the way that they were dismantled is really concerning. And you could see there was no imagination at all from the Stormers in terms of the way that they play. You could see that. They don't have a plan at all. Doesn't look like they have a plan. You know, anyway, that's enough about the Stormers.
That's it for me on that one. I just want to shout out Nokia. He had some good support lines, and it seems like it's becoming a trademark of his game. You know, always in support. It's like Fansel. I think those sniping runs are also becoming a trademark of his game.
You can see he's improving. He's improving. Even Fansel, look, as much as I went live the past year when he came on the scene as a Springbok, you know, I didn't rate him at all. But you got to give credit to credit is due. He's improved his game, and you can see it. You know, and he's making the right decisions behind the scrum. So, you know, again, you can't fault the guys. You know, Ulrich Loh, he looks good. They lose Chur, looks settled. Like you said, this looks like their guys. You know, this looks like this is the combination for them. You know, so yeah. But, you know, good on them. Just one more thing. You know, I must say, you know, I came out publicly and I said that I was expecting Australia to beat New Zealand at some point in this Bledisloe series. Look, they gave me false hope after their first game in Wellington, where I saw a lot of problems in the New Zealand game. Credit to them and their coaching staff for being able to fix those very quickly, you know, and really show their class and why they have been the most successful sporting team in sporting history, you know, in terms of their win percentage. So, you know, I was wrong. There's still one more Bledisloe game to come in the series between Australia and New Zealand, but New Zealand have locked the trophy away for another year. You know, it's been very long since Australia even got a touch of that thing, you know. So, yeah, look, credit must go to the All Blacks.
I give them credit, but at the same time, to me, as much as it was sort of a record-breaking margin of victory, I don't think they were necessarily as impressive as the record suggests. I think Australia were more shocking.
I think Australia allowed them.
They need to get it together.
They allowed them to play, you know, but they're a young team. They're still growing. But, you know, maybe it may not happen this season. But the Australia, they will come a time. They will beat New Zealand. That I still don't change. It didn't happen now, but their time will come where they will beat them and they will reclaim that Bledisloe. It will happen, you know. But
happy to see the Springboks as well. I think they've renewed Rugby Championship for another 10 years, which is some great news.
great news.
for
You
me
know, so
personally, because I like seeing.
yeah, you know, and for me, that's actually the real test for a team like New Zealand and teams like Australia, because you know there's no physicality like South African physicality. I don't care what they say.
Mm.
You know, they can play against each other all they want. You know, they're not experiencing what it's like to be hit by a farm boy or you know, or a real South African. You know, so yeah, but I'm glad as well. Rugby Championship. Hopefully, COVID stays away next year and we can get some action.
Yeah.
You know, with that. But yes, let's go to
That's
this
it.
weekend.
Let's get into next week predictions for, well, not next week, this week, coming Friday. We've got the Sharks at home against the Cheetahs. Mahoja is back. Visa and Steenkamp have left. Steenkamp's on his way to the Bulls. Visa, he's gone to England. The Sharks, is out.
Yes.
They're gonna have Jeremy Ward and Low in the midfield. Penclair starts.
Yeah.
Cheetahs, I've got Cheetahs by 7. I think that they'll pull it off away from home. I've got more faith in them at this point.
You know, look, my heart says the Sharks, you see, but we don't have our captain in there, you know.
No chair on the bench.
No chairs on the bench, and we've got Henko Fenta, who just came. He's now the captain. So I don't understand what they will do in terms of team morale, but that's okay. They know what they're doing. I think this one will be tight, you know. That's because of my heart, you know. This one will be tight. I say the Sharks by 3 points, or rather, let me say I'm hoping the Sharks will win, you know, and continue building that momentum, because the Cheetahs haven't played, so maybe they'll catch them cold. So, you know, Sharks, I'll say Sharks by 3. You know, it'll be a tight game in my view, but we'll see.
Next one. That's your pick. That's your pick.
My pick. I'll stick by it.
Next one, we've got Griquas versus Stormers. This one I feel is a bit more contentious. This one I don't know. I've got the Stormers by 3, but I don't know
what I'm hoping for.
I don't know. I've got Stormers by 3, but I don't know.
I think people are gonna cry this weekend, you know, and it's gonna be the Stormers guys, you know. They're gonna cry. They're not used to that hard field, you know. It's
that
tough
yellow grass.
That yellow grass, my man. They're not used to. They're used to nice lush fields in Belleville, there, Newlands, and all of that. So Griquas, I think they owe their home support, you know, or they're faithful, you know, they owe them a performance, because the last time they played at home, they lost, you know. And last week, because they managed to score points against the Lions, for me, I feel they actually have more creativity than the Stormers. So I'd say Griquas will take it by, to say, 5 points. You know, give it to them by 5. I'd say Griquas.
And the last match of the weekend, the Lions at home.
You can call that one.
It's going to be a real test for the Lions. This is going to be the marker to say, okay, first, we are unlucky to lose, but we are building on something. But how far have we come against a Bulls team which is close to the final product?
Yeah.
Another one where it's also my head and my heart, they're distance apart. But I will go with the Lions by 5.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Because I think the Lions pack will be able to match the Bulls pack from work rate perspective, physicality, and the execution, you know. Then they've got a very young, vibrant, exuberant backline that it's gonna be blockbuster, man. It's gonna be blockbuster. But the Lions, I say the Lions by 5. I have to agree with you there, quarters. This time I'm supporting you, my man. I stand behind you, you know.
And that's it. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much.
Share, subscribe, all that good stuff. tell a friend to tell a friend that there's a rugby podcast where these guys, they just talk.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And that's it from us. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.